Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Let's Play Dragon Age Origins Dwarven Commoner Edition. Last we left off, we had a nightmare about the Archdemon, and we checked up on Sten. We told Bodan and Sandal that they were perfectly welcome to be here. And we checked in with Alistair to see how he was doing with the loss of Duncan. We're going to spend this next episode doing a bit more chatting with our companions. And we'll start with two people we haven't talked to yet, Liliana and Morgan. And let's start with Liliana since she's closer.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
This vision of yours.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in.
You dreamed of the Blight?
I suppose I did. That was what the darkness was, no? When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
And this made you want to help me?
In my dream, I fell. Or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the Blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the Blight devours everything?
None of these particularly fit my character. 'Cause I don't really... Again, as I said, I'm playing someone who's more, religiously ambiguous, not particularly leaning one way or the other. I suppose, technically, that's ambiguous, but... still leaning more towards a Chantry believer. I suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a Blight to stop.
Indeed. Liliana proves +2. And next, let's check up on Morgan.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
I'm wondering, how did you become a shape-changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
That does sound like something you do.
Oh? I truly doubt that children would be worth the effort. They are filthy, smelly things full of tears and snot and trouble. That said, I cannot speak for the tastes of my mother. She has, after all, lived a very lengthy time in the wilds and done many things I know nothing of. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Very interesting. Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Oh, no, I'm not disappointed. I was just curious. Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Ah, I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
I would suppose any sort of magic is open to abuse. Well, I think actually that's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
Well, no, I think your abilities sound quite useful.
A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Probably a good idea. And she has passed the plus 25 approval mark, I believe. So now she has gained minor magic. Alright, let's talk to Alistair again, because we like our buddy Alistair, don't we?
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something, Alistair.
Ask away.
What can a Templar do exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
I would wonder if Templars use magic themselves. Have you hunted many mages?
No, I never actually became a full Templar. Duncan recruited me before I took my vows. I was only present during one harrowing. The ritual that they test the mages with. It's not unlike our joining, really. And just as deadly. The girl they tested, she had a demon put inside her to see if she could resist. And she couldn't. We had to end it quickly. I have to say I didn't have much interest in becoming a Templar after that.
Yikes. Man, I wouldn't have that interest either. So, do Templars use magic themselves?
You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
Seems like the Templars could run the Chantry.
You'd think that. But it's not so. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
Well, that's horrible. I can't believe they would do that, but yeah, that's awful.
Well, they do it, and they feel perfectly justified. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective, or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Ah! And Alistair is now at 25 approval.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Can you teach others to become a Templar?
I suppose I could. But I really would rather not. When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word.
Very well. I'll respect your word.
Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all.
No, I suppose not. Although, I already technically am a Templar. Lolly, 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 lol. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep pestering you.
Something on your mind?
Oh, he actually is friendly now. Kind of. Interesting. So there's now a new question, and I'm not going to ask it though. But by the question you can probably tell that if you are a female character, you can flirt with Alistair. Which is always tons of fun, by the way. You cannot flirt with Alistair if you're male. Sorry, guys. Well, unless you have the PC version and you mod it, but this is the Xbox version. We don't have your fancy mods, as much as we would like to. No. If I'm going to, get his attention, I will do it in a bit more subtle way. As fun as this conversation is, which it is tons of fun. I have some questions.
Of course.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Ha ha, very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't actually seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
I'm sorry.
No, it's... I'm sorry. I shouldn't be. It's fine. He died a hero. They all did. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
Yeah, alright. I'll stop bothering you now. But it's so much fun to bother Alistair. Bother. Anyway. Unfortunately, we are out of time, so I'm going to save the game and cut the video off here. But I will see you all on the next installment of Let's Play Dragon Age Origins, Dwarven Commoner Edition. I will see you all then. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, whatever suits you.